Hello, my name is Sarah Kim. I'm a student at UC San Diego, California, and I'd like to talk to you about, just my experience and why I would love to be a part of the NYU Music Therapy program. So first off, my experience with music, I have been playing piano and violin for as long as I remember. My mother was a piano teacher since I was born, so it was just something that I had to be around without a choice. But the violin, I chose myself, and I fell in love with just being able to play different notes just by sliding my finger up instead of just doing that. And I loved the fact that I can produce so many different sounds on the violin. But I was always more comfortable with the piano because the pitches are there, you can see it. And I became involved with both piano and violin, performing recitals, doing competitions, the CMEA, and going through the CM tests. And I joined the orchestra when I was in middle school and high school, and I became first chair of the Prospect Westmont High School String Ensemble. And from that, I gained so much leadership and just the ability to play and listen to other people, and it was an amazing experience. I got to play in the Disney concert hall, and that was one of the highlights of my life and my experience as a musician. And when I came to San Diego, I was still more comfortable playing piano. I had a preference, but then I loved the UCSD music program. They let you do a lot of experimental things here. So I got to do things like play, pluck, and make really dissonant sounds and kind of squeaky sounds and sing at the same time on my violin. And, I got to pluck the strings of the piano, and then they called it experimental or new music, and we played John Cage and learned a lot of music history and things I never knew about, the theory and the math behind the pieces that I played, like the Patatique. Beethoven, I never knew he was so meticulous. But anyway, when I came to San Diego, I got really involved in violin. I got a lot of attention from, being the first violinist and concert mistress of the UCSD string orchestra. So I became a part of the ensemble and played quartet, trio, quintet, and played for weddings and just outside of school as well. And then I became involved in the county fair. I'll send you a video of that. We're a bluegrass rock pop band, and if I go to New York, I'll be really sad to part from them. But I had a really great time, just a lot of fun coming up with my own parts. I've always done classical music, so it was different for me to not have music in front of me, actually have an audience, or be on stage with, having to make eye contact with everyone. But it's a lot of fun, and I think, it'll be a part of my life forever. Once you go bluegrass, I just feel like you can't have that taken out of you. And then I started working with my praise band at church and choir. But outside of that, I wanted to work. My mom always encouraged me to become more open to working, like taking music as not just a hobby and, doing competitions because she told me to, but for work and a career path. And I always told her, well, this is something I love. I don't want to make it into, something I have to do, and I don't want to dread it. And then I started teaching her students, and then started transposing music for her students. And because I had perfect pitch, which gets in the way all the time, but it's a blessing, and I am so grateful that I had been trained and been able to hear anything and pinpoint what notes they are. Doing that, I fell in love with teaching, and I work for Take Lessons and Musica. And Musica is actually located in New York, and they connect me with students that are in San Diego that want to learn violin, viola, piano, music theory, and singing. And so, working with these companies, I became, connected with a lot of teachers and just, the music community. And I met Cami Smith, who is a music therapist in San Diego, and had the pleasure of seeing her work, and she got me involved as well. And we got to work with kids with autism and cerebral palsy, and now I teach kids with autism as well. But the thing that really, really changed my mind about, making music as a part of my career was going to New York last year, and I bugged, I believe his name was Rick Perry. He let me come in and talk to one of the music therapists and the department and just talk to the students there, and I got lost, of course. It was my first time in New York, and I was so excited to be there, and I just checked out the campus and talked to the students there, and I could really see myself, doing that work and being a part of the campus. And I love the idea of working with music, working with people, because I have always wanted to touch other people with music and affect them somehow. When I played at nursing homes, it was always for the elderly or people who were working there, but it was like I changed their mood by playing piano or playing classical music. And I can tell even people that never talked to me or even made eye contact with me, they smiled and they said, I remember that piece from, when I was younger and I played piano. And that's just so awesome that I can change their mood. And I think I'm living proof of the fact that music therapy works, because if I'm in a bad mood and I just go into the piano room, 30 minutes later, I'm in the greatest mood ever. And anyway, working with Cami Smith, the music therapist here, and this little kid named Cameron, he has cerebral palsy, and he doesn't really function on his right side, and he limps, and he's not very strong with his right hand. So we use boom whackers to exercise his arm muscles, and we make him, swing his arm, and we use percussion to make sure that, things that are out of reach of his left hand, he has to swing or whack things with his right hand. And we try to encourage him to rely on his right side a little bit more. And then we time him when he's walking, and we try to exercise, his right side, and have, what do you call this, the little balls to help his posture. And the violin, we practice together to extend his right arm. And for his attention, we try to exercise the musical attention control training from going through violin and piano. So I'll play and he'll have to go to the chair and pick up the guitar and start playing. Or if I play a scale, and he'll have to go to the violin side, and then he has to play a scale of his own. So it's a lot of fun, and I learned so much, and I am just so excited to be doing that for the rest of my life. And I never thought that I would be able to find a job or a field where I can do something I love and help people at the same time. The reason why I want to be a part of New York University is because, one, I know the classes are going to be small, and we're going to have hands-on experience with the Nordhoff Robin Center right in front of us. And when I met with the students there, they were so happy to be a part of the music program, and they were really passionate. And I think I'm going to be one of the youngest music therapy students there, but I just want to get started right away, and I am sure this is what I want to do. I'm very passionate about music and teaching and just making people around me and people I don't know feel better. The whole experience with watching Cam just go from not being able to lift his arm in one session and then being able to, play violin and swing his stick on the boom whackers. It was like watching magic, and I really am excited to get started right away. And right now I feel like I know nothing. I feel like I just have the gist, the tip of the iceberg, and I really just want to learn in depth what I can do to help others as a music therapist, to not just help people with disabilities, but to teach them to love music, to enjoy music on a whole different level, and just not normal people, but people without disabilities. I want to help them experience music the way I do, listening, playing, singing, writing. There's so much we can do with music, and I want them to experience that you don't have to have something wrong with you to see a therapist and a music therapist. And I think talking to the staff and students at NYU, I would be a really good fit, and it would be a nice change from sunny California. I'm going to miss the weather for sure, but I've lived here half my life, and before that I was in Korea, and I would really love to live in New York and experience the city and the people and the culture. And yeah, thank you so much for your time.